This Bud's for You, the portrayal of pot in popular culture. While cultural references to cannabis may not be as common as those pertaining to booze, they are becoming more prevalent and prominent, even if the plant's illicit status discourages many of its consumers from identifying themselves publicly. For instance, references and accolades about the use of pot are widespread in popular music. Numerous top-selling hip-hop artists like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Cypress Hill, and Redman brazenly celebrate weed in their lyrics. Similarly, rapper Method Man titled his 2006 album 421 The Day After in an effort to appeal to marijuana-friendly audiences. April 20th is a date that is widely recognized in cannabis culture as a day to celebrate the use of marijuana. Country music heavyweight Willie Nelson's fondness for marijuana is similarly well known. In 2005, the artist adorned the cover of his CD Countryman with a marijuana leaf. Nelson also serves as a spokesperson for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, NORML. Reggae legends Bob Marley and Peter Tosh were similarly outspoken about their pot use. Today, even heavy metal fans have a pot-friendly musical subgenre known as stoner rock, so named because of the band's, as well as their fans' affinity for weed. Affectionate references to cannabis are equally popular in film and on television. Late-night hosts like Jon Stewart, Bill Maher, and Jay Leno liberally sprinkle their monologues with jokes about weed. While many of their punchlines seize upon various marijuana stereotypes, the hosts are just as likely to elicit laughs from the audience by poking fun of politicians' all too often antiquated attitudes toward the plant. Hollywood is also cashing in on Americans' fondness for marijuana, a trend described in 2008 by the Christian Science Monitor as cinema's new stoned age. Successful films and cable television shows like Weeds, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, Half-Baked, Pineapple Express, Entourage, Dazed and Confused, and How High not only utilize marijuana-themed plots and characters, but also incorporate cannabis into their marketing. For example, distributors for Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay and Reefer Madness the Movie Musical both chose to debut their films around April 20th. Writing in 2008 about Hollywood's growing acceptance of pot, Canadian reporters Ben Carosa and Leah Collins concluded, with pot-friendly flicks often scoring huge at the box office and earning bags of pop culture credibility, stoners are almost mainstream. Many prominent actors and directors are outspoken about their past or current use of cannabis. Award-winning filmmakers Robert Altman from MASH and Nashville and Oliver Stone, JFK, born on the 4th of July, both have admitted to being lifelong cannabis consumers. Shortly before his death in 2006 at age 81, Altman told a British newspaper, "At the end of the day, you want to have a laugh and sit down and smoke a joint, which I do every day of my life." Meanwhile, in front of the camera, A-list celebrities like Jennifer Aniston, Sarah Silverman, Brad Pitt, Seth Rogen, Matthew McConaughey, and Woody Harrelson are some of the Screen Actors Guild's most successful pot smokers. Harrelson's support for the rights of cannabis consumers is so strong that he once withheld several $1,000s in federal taxes to protest the government's prohibition of marijuana. He is also an active member of the advisory board for NORML. Certainly, all of you reading this book are aware that many prominent American politicians have dabbled with herb. And while 20 years ago the political fallout of such an admission was quick and severe, in the mid-'80s Supreme Court nominee Douglas Ginsburg was withdrawn from consideration for having admitted using pot in college. Well, the times, they are a-changin'. In the 90s, two-term Democratic President Bill Clinton famously acknowledged trying pot, although he alleged that he didn't inhale, while his arch-nemesis, former Republican House Speaker Newt Gingrich, dismissed his own marijuana use as a sign we were alive. By the 2004 presidential election, the use of marijuana by presidential candidates had become so passé that candidate Joseph Lieberman publicly apologized during a nationally televised debate for not having tried the drug. During his 2008 presidential campaign, Barack Obama also spoke openly about his own pot use, admitting, "I inhaled frequently. That was the point. The live audience, many of whom had also undoubtedly inhaled frequently from time to time, applauded Obama's candid remark. The statement galvanized Obama's support among young people, many of whom either had used or continued to use pot, and all but secured votes from America's budding cannabis community. Of course, given the herb's criminal status and the numerous penalties associated with its use, the fact that there exists any pot culture, much less one that is as prominent as cannabis culture, is a testament to how many people consume marijuana and view the plant favorably. Opining in the July 7, 2008 edition of the Central Florida Future newspaper, a student columnist aptly wrote, "Marijuana is one of the only illegal substances so influential in American culture that its users have developed a subculture of their own." The author continued, "Weed culture is a nationwide phenomenon complete with films, music, books, stores, and silly t-shirts, all dedicated to America's favorite criminal pastime. It's a culture with its own heroes like Bob Marley, Willie Nelson, Cheech and Chong. A pot leaf is more than just a picture of a drug. It is a symbol that connects people to a lifestyle."